Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really plunging into a place that sounds incredible, Bangkok's legendary Chatuchak market.
Mhm.
Based on the insights you shared, it's not just about shopping, right? It's exploring, finding unique things, really soaking up the culture.
Exactly. And looking at this material, it's clear Chatuchak is, well, huge. It's got this reputation as one of the world's biggest markets. That scale alone is something.
One of the biggest.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, a deep dive feels necessary. So our mission, using these perspectives you sent over, is to sort of figure out what makes it tick.
Right.
Like, how do you even get there? What should you absolutely see? What's the deal with the food? And, what does it all mean when you're visiting Bangkok?
Exactly. Getting beyond just, it's big.
Okay, first things first. A place this massive. Getting there sounds like it could be, well, a challenge. What's the best way in, according to this info?
Well, the material pretty strongly points towards the trains.
Mm-hmm.
The BTS SkyTrain and the MRT Metro.
Mm.
They're highlighted as the easiest, quickest way to avoid that famous Bangkok traffic.
Right, the traffic. Good point. So trains are the way to go.
Seems like it. They mention specific stations, Mo Chit for both BTS and MRT, or Chatuchak Park Station, also for both. These get you near the main entrances.
Okay.
There's also another MRT station, Kampfing Phet. That one apparently drops you off closer to a different side, near something called the Red Building.
Multiple train options. That's helpful. Makes it feel a bit more manageable.
Yeah, and these train lines are generally good for getting around central Bangkok anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Taxis and tuk-tuks, they're mentioned, sure, but with warnings about traffic.
Uh-huh.
And crucially, making sure the taxi driver uses the meter. Maybe have your GPS ready on your phone, just in case.
Good tip. So plan the arrival, use the trains if possible. Anything else on actually getting there?
Well, there's parkings near BTS Mochit Station. It's mentioned as free, but fills up super fast. And it has specific hours, 5 a.m. to 1 a.m., no overnight. So yeah, parking's an option, but maybe a tricky one. Trains definitely sound like the smoother bet. It just helps knowing these things beforehand, Takes away some stress.
Totally. Okay, so you've made it. You're at the edge of this labyrinth. What's it actually like inside? What's the vibe based on these descriptions?
The first thing is just the sheer size. Massive, huge. Sprawling over 35 acres, more than 15,000 stalls. The word labyrinth keeps popping up.
15,000. Wow. That implies serious density.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's not just the size, it's the energy that creates. The
Yeah.
descriptions use words like bustling, energetic, lively, crowded, chaotic, like a constant buzz.
What makes up that buzz? What do you actually see and hear?
You see shopkeepers and customers haggling, friendly bargaining. That's key. It's expected.
Oh.
Tourists, locals, everyone sort of packed together at food stalls, wandering the aisles. There's music playing, which apparently adds to the happy vibe. Even with the heat or humidity mentioned, people seem, well, happy. Yeah, it's this mix of focused local shoppers and wide-eyed tourists just taking it all in and just wandering, maybe getting a little lost. That seems to be part of the experience, part of absorbing it all.
That sensory overload.
Yeah.
The sights, sounds, the crowds, you can almost feel it from the descriptions.
It's definitely presented as a full-on sensory immersion. But amidst all that chaos, there seems to be this real core of enjoyment and connection.
So, okay, moving beyond just the feel of it. Why is Chatuchak so significant? The material suggests it's more than just a giant mall, right? Why does it matter for someone visiting Bangkok?
Well, yeah, it's framed as one of the world's most famous weekend markets, a definite must-visit. But the why is interesting. It's a major spot for locals and travelers.
Okay.
And crucially, it offers this authentic peek into local culture and history. Exploring markets like this is suggested as a really good way to understand the cultural heritage, the local way of life, something maybe less polished than other tourist spots.
So cultural immersion through just being there, seeing daily life?
Pretty much. It's a place where you can connect with locals, chat with vendors, do the whole bargaining thing, just feel the rhythm of the city's hustle. And economically, it's huge.
Right.
Supporting loads of small businesses, vendors, artisans, their livelihoods depend on it. Plus, it's deeply connected to Thai street food culture. It's not just got food, it's a food destination. Shows how central food is to culture and the economy there.
That really puts it in perspective. It's not just shopping. It's like a living, breathing part of the city. You witness and participate in local life, support the community.
Exactly. A reflection of Bangkok's energy and history.
Okay, now the fun part, the treasure hunt. 15,000 stalls. Where do you even start? What sections or things does the material really highlight?
The sheer variety is mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
Antiques, clothes, food, obviously, crafts, live pets, plants. Basically everything imaginable is mentioned. The real joy seems to be in just discovering stuff, unique finds, collectibles, cool souvenirs.
Definitely sounds like a hunt. Are there specific zones for specific things?
Oh yeah, several are called out. Section 7 is big for handicrafts. Think handmade jewelry, silk scarves, colorful lanterns, wood carvings. And buying here often directly supports local artists. Someone even mentioned finding a specific pair of decorative owls there.
Supporting artists, that's great. What else?
Section 26 is flagged for antiques and collectibles. Sounds like a treasure trove. Rare coins, vintage cameras, old vinyl, Thai amulets, like stepping back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Art is scattered around too. Paintings, ceramics, traditional and modern influences. Things like detailed ceramics or paintings of Thai angels, or even fish anatomy, apparently.
Fish anatomy. Okay, that's unique.
Definitely. For clothes, there's trendy stuff, but also lots of secondhand and vintage. The red building near that Kamphaeng Phet MRT station gets a specific shout-out for vintage finds. Plus handmade jewelry, bags, textiles, and yeah, bargaining is definitely the name of the game in the clothing areas.
Good reminder on the bargaining. Anything. Unusual.
Well, there's Pet Alley. Sections 13 and 14 described as fascinating, with tropical fish, cats, dogs, exotic birds. The material does add a note about responsible pet ownership, which is probably important to mention.
A pet section certainly adds to the diversity.
It does. And then for something totally different, Section 3 is plants and gardening. Orchids, succulents, pots. Described as a bit of a peaceful escape, fresh air. And interestingly, this section is apparently open on Wednesdays and Thursdays, when the main market might be closed.
Oh, useful tip for midweek visitors. Any other specific spots?
Bnagkok bookstore is mentioned for secondhand books, another place for hidden gems. And practically speaking, lots of cold drinks available everywhere, and mist fans placed around to help you cool down.
The variety is just stunning. It really does sound like an expedition, not just shopping.
That's the vibe, yeah. Always something unexpected around the next corner because it's just so big and mixed.
All right, my absolute favorite topic, the food. What are the must-eats? What specific stalls or dishes come up again and again in the material?
Okay, yeah, the food is consistently a massive highlight. A total feast for the senses, rows and rows of stalls, this dizzying array. And the smells chili, garlic, basil. It's described as sensory overload in the best way.
Okay, making me hungry. What are the specific standouts? Give me the juicy details.
Right, let's dive in. Coco JJ comes up repeatedly for its homemade coconut ice cream, often served in a coconut shell with the flesh scraped out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can add toppings like corn, sticky rice, nuts. Sounds like the perfect treat for the heat. Some even call it the best dessert there. Yeah.
Coconut ice cream in a shell. Noted. Savory stuff.
Viva 8 gets mentioned. They do paella, this huge pan cooked right there.
Yeah.
This also seems like a good spot to grab a beer or sangria and just people watch.
Paella. Interesting. And noodles.
Definitely.
Wow.
Chatuchak duck noodles or prani, recommended for braised duck noodles, tender meat, aromatic broth. You can even get a bowl with a huge duck drumstick.
Okay, duck noodles with a massive drumstick. That's specific. I like it.
Another one is pork mesa samantha, roasted pork with a honey glaze.
Mm.
Apparently there are often cues, which is usually a good sign, right?
Oh.
And Rathanikosin boat noodle chatuchak. Classic boat noodles, flavorful soup, pork or beef, chewy noodles. Suggestion is to add crispy pork rinds.
Boat noodles. Okay, this list is getting long. Any other general favorites?
Yeah, besides specific stalls, things like grilled pork skewers, hat yai-style fried chicken, loads of fresh fruit, Thai tea, toasted garlic skewers, fresh coffee, they all get mentioned. And the absolute classics pop up everywhere. Pad Thai, mango sticky rice, that coconut ice cream again, green curry, meatballs on skewers.
It sounds like the real challenge is deciding what not to eat.
Pretty much. The advice seems to be, don't stress, just try what looks good to you, whether it's pad thai or something else. Prices are generally low, so you can sample. And going with friends is recommended so you can try more things.
The food is clearly essential, not just fuel, but a whole cultural experience in itself.
Absolutely. It's where so much of the energy and flavor converges.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. How does Chatuchak fit into the bigger picture of a Bangkok trip, based on how it's talked about alongside other places?
Well, it's presented as a key part of Bangkok's diverse scene. And importantly, it's accessible via those same train systems, the BTS and MRT, that connect you to loads of other major sites.
So it's well connected, not isolated. What other places are mentioned nearby or reachable the same way?
You can use the trains or connect to things like the river boats to get to places like the Grand Palace, Waterun, or explore Chinatown Yaowarat for its own intense atmosphere and food. So using the trains for Chatuchak kind of prepares you for navigating to these other spots too.
That makes sense. It can be like a launching pad for other explorations using the same transport.
Exactly. And the material also notes Bangkok has tons of shopping beyond the market, mentioning areas like Siam, Pratunam, from Phong, for maybe more modern mall experiences, contrasting with Chatuchak.
Right, so different flavors of shopping and city experiences are all accessible.
It really shows how connected the city is. Oh, and related to the bigger trip picture, one piece of info gives some general cost guides for Bangkok hotels, food, activities, transport. The gist seems to be that Bangkok offers pretty good value for money, depending on your style, of course.
That's useful context. Makes experiencing a place like Chatuchak feel quite accessible overall.
Adds that practical angle, yeah.
Well, this deep dive has definitely painted a vivid picture of Chatuchak Market, from figuring out how to even tackle its size, to the energy, the specific treasures, and oh my goodness, that food scene.
Yeah, it's clear from all this information, it's way more than just shopping. It's this immersion in local life, culture, the city's pulse.
Sounds like an unforgettable experience. Thanks for walking us through all these insights.
My pleasure. And maybe a final thought for you, drawing from these descriptions. Think about how these incredibly vibrant, busy markets like Chatuchak really function as the living heartbeat of a city. They hold history, culture, the economy, daily life, all in one place. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does it mean to find those moments of joy or connection or just simple surprise in such a dynamic, crowded, exhilarating environment?
That's a really great thought to leave us with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.